I'm David Ignatius, a columnist for the Washington Post, and I'm going to moderate this afternoon's discussion of Gaza. Our discussion of Gaza follows a war there that has reminded all of us of the burden of history in the Middle East, and also has reminded all of us of the fragility of the peace process. Tonight, I hope we'll put a little more substance to that process by discussing where we go now, how we put the pieces back together. We have a most distinguished panel to discuss these issues with us tonight. Let me first briefly introduce them. To my immediate right is the Prime Minister of Turkey, Recep Tayyip Erdoğan. To his left is the President of Israel, Shimon Peres. To his left is the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon. And to his left is the Secretary General of the Arab League, Amr Moussa. I'm going to ask Secretary General Ban Ki-moon from the United Nations, who has been particularly focused on the humanitarian aspects of the Gaza crisis, to lead off tonight with his remarks for the next 5 minutes. Secretary General.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to take part in this very important discussions on the Middle East peace process. The watchword of this Davos Forum seems to be a crisis, a multiple crisis. We have been talking about financial crisis, climate crisis, food crisis, energy crisis. But to over 1.5 million Palestinians in Gaza, these crises seem to be a distant one, considering and comparing to their daily crisis they have to endure, they have to suffer, particularly after this 3-week-long military conflict and until continuing until today. This is very sad. When I visited Gaza, I saw myself, the level of destruction, the level of tragic difficulty these people have to endure because of this crisis. I came back with a strengthened resolve as a Secretary General of the United Nations that I must do urgently to help these people in alleviating the sufferings of these humanitarian issues. This morning, I issued an urgent appeal amounting to $613 million for an immediate, urgent humanitarian assistance as well as early recovery. We are now talking about mid and long-term reconstruction. These are what I'd like to discuss with you. Now, I have 4 priorities. I think it is not me as a Secretary General. It's a whole international community must address 4 priority issues in addressing this Middle East peace process comprehensively. 2 are immediate and urgent priority issues. That is, how to make this ceasefire a durable and sustainable, and which can be respected by all the parties concerned. This ceasefire, unilaterally declared, is very fragile, as we have seen 2 days ago. One Israeli soldier was killed near the Rafah crossing. So anytime a small incident even can break this ceasefire, there must be international community's focused efforts to prevent any smuggling of illicit weapons and arms into Gaza. And Israeli government must open all the crossings to allow the free and smooth flow of humanitarian assistance and other reconstruction materials. These are very important to make this ceasefire a durable and sustainable one. There is very urgent humanitarian issues. The schools and roads, electricities and sanitations and sewages, they have all been destroyed. People have lost their beloved families, their friends, and more than 5,000 people have been wounded, with 1,300 people killed. This is a human tragedy. I visited United Nations compound, which has been bombed by Israeli forces attack. This was very shocking and alarming, and which was unacceptable. Now, these are two most urgent priority issues which we have to tackle. The remaining two issues are relating to mid and long-term process. That is unity of Palestinians. With this division of Palestinian people living in both in Gaza and West Bank, divided into Fatah and Hamas, it will be very difficult for international community to see the smooth reconstruction, smooth well-being of Palestinian people. This is very sad, and I hope that Arab countries, all Arab countries, now we have Secretary General of League of Arab States here, to facilitate this unity of Palestinians in a united way. The fourth priority, this is a fundamental one. This is a peace process. On an urgent basis, this Middle East peace process should be put on track. In that regard, I'm very much encouraged by new President of the United States, President Obama, who has already taken very swift, decisive measures by appointing Special Envoy, Senator George Mitchell. He is now already traveling in the region. Israelis and Palestinians, they have achieved substantial progress during last year. They must build upon this progress thus far made. I would strongly urge United Nations will continue to participate and support that. Now then, how to ensure all this peace process to make this durable? Hamas must stop rocket firing, must not provoke Israelis. And Israelis should take maximum restraint to keep this peace process, very fragile process. Since the break of this crisis, I have been phoning and meeting the leaders of the region and international community, including 3 distinguished leaders sitting together with us. It has been very difficult. But United Nations cannot do it alone. Whole international community, particularly whole Arab countries and leaders of major countries, particularly United States, they should take a leadership role, and we must engage in Middle East peace process on an urgent and immediate basis. And I would again urge at this time to international donors to be generously and positively providing a necessary humanitarian assistance. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Secretary General Bond. Let me turn now to Prime Minister Erdoğan from Turkey. Prime Minister, your government has been playing a key role as intermediary in indirect negotiations between Israel and Syria, which were pushing ahead when the Gaza war began. Let me put to you the same question that I put to the Secretary General of the United Nations, and I want all of our guests to address.